Sebastien Tremblay is on the cusp of his first national championship crown. But a crop of young, fast riders are trying to become the next in line to dethrone the Shaker. In round 3 at Calabogie Motorsports Park, who will take the next step? Hello everyone, and welcome to Calabogie Motorsports Park. Welcome to the third round of the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike National Championships. It's an ideal day for race number 3 on the season. The Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike National Championships are presented by Mopar, Joe Rocket, and USA Battery.
Looking at our starting grid here, and if it seems a tad familiar, it's because this is a makeup race for an event that was canceled, or more accurately postponed, at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park last month. So we're actually using that grid that was set on the Friday at that track. Here you can see the lineup. We are missing a couple of people who are at CTMP, but we have most of the regular front runners, and Elliot Viera, of course, qualified second on that Yamaha, looking to make up after a very hard time at CTMP. Second on the road and made it to the podium, but then unfortunately Viera registered over on the official series DynoJet Dyno. Let's go talk to Hannah.
Thanks, guys. So after qualifying, Sebastien Tremblay has a full race in hand with 50 points, and many times he's been the favorite to win this title but hasn't yet succeeded. So hopefully he will clinch the win for this championship. Back up to you guys.
Okay, we are getting ready for the start of this national championship race. The next thing we see should be the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers lights. There they are, Colin. When all the lights are on, now the riders are really concentrating. The lights are off and we are away and running. It looked to me like the Shaker got the jump on that one. Yeah,
he's been getting good starts, but he tends to be just a little bit careful. And why did I say that? Because he has a solid lead.
Viera neatly into second spot and David McKay into third. And I think that's Christian Allard in fourth. No, there's a pass going on back there.
Might be Massey.
A little bit of a shuffle. Thank you for that.
Could be wrong. No, I think it's Massey.
Into the left-hander they go. This is a beautiful shot. I love this shot as they come up and over that rise now, and at full speed the Shaker is tucked into the gas tank. He's in behind the plexiglass. Now he's on the brakes hard.
And interesting discussion. He's made it clear, Tremblay, that what he'd like to do is get clear, and that's what he did at our last race at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. So the other guys know that they have a very specific task here. You can see Viera wheeling over that hill. He's on the gas, but they have to put the pressure on right away. If Tremblay can't easily get away, he'll slow down and race them, but he is capable, and that's unusual in this middleweight class, of breaking the draft and getting away.
Well, Tremblay is getting away, but he's got company with him this time. He has dragged Elliot Viera along with him. Viera is having a career ride here. This is the best I've seen him ride in quite some time.
Well, I think at our last race at Mosport, he showed a lot of pace, but of course got disqualified after the race on the dyno. So I think definitely make good situation for Viera on that Snow City Brooklyn Cycle Racing Yamaha, but I think what's interesting is Viera's had nothing but bad luck for several years.
Yeah.
Of course, the last race was more bad luck because it's more of a tuning than a cheating issue, really. It's so easy to get caught by weather changes, and definitely that was a point of considerable discussion with these bikes at our last round. But what I'm talking about is that Viera has the ability, he just hasn't really had much of a showcase yet.
Quite so. And Tremblay continues to lead. Viera running in second spot. And, oh, nice pass. That was a beautiful pass executed by David McKay on Lavillain rather, and now he has third spot. So McKay on the 82 bike up into third spot.
Yeah, interesting battle there. Rafa and Allard are also part of that discussion, but McKay and Lavillain really going at it hard in the first lap, and they need to tidy.
And now Lavillain has returned the favor. Lavillain shuffles up into third spot again, and McKay has been shunted back into fourth. There again, Viera wide in that right-hander.
And here's the part of the track where Viera tried to pass the last time we were at Calabogie. At the end of this straight, made a beautiful pass, but ran out of racetrack.
Yes.
So another little bit of hard luck. Now we're looking backwards from the leading Kawasaki of Tremblay, and Viera was less ambitious and more on the track that time.
He is showing some distinct ambition here. He is starting to get aggressive, is Elliot Viera, and I thought perhaps he would just tuck in behind and just follow the shaker, just take it easy, but he's showing signs that he wants the point, Colin.
Well, and I love that he's putting the pressure on, right? Because we haven't seen much of this with Tremblay. Tremblay's been in this class for a while. He's been in a lot of fantastic battles for the lead. Most of those riders have moved on to Superbike. Of course, we're missing Hornblower, the former champion, who's been out all season with injury, not riding his Yamaha. But yeah, this is great to see Viera, and terrific on board from the Yamaha, looking at the back of our leader and our pace setter, the man to beat for the last couple of years in this middleweight class, Sebastien Tremblay.
Great action here. These two riders, however, Colin, have left a great distance now between themselves and those in pursuit. And we are, of course, talking about Lavillan, McKay, and Massey. Rafa having a very good ride, I might add, as well. On the Honda, number 76, Louis Rafa getting into the in towards the top 5.
Yeah, definitely this pace early in the, I mean, we're only on lap 2. It's remarkable. The pace is really superb. Look at how far ahead they are.
Yeah.
And that's down to Viera, A, putting on the pressure, and B, having the ability to run that lap time to generate that pressure. And, you know, Tremblay's going to look at his pit board, look at how close Viera is there in the gravel cut. But Tremblay in a second is going to see his pit board, and he's going to see he's +0.
And we will be right back from Calabogie Motorsports Park. Closed captioning of this broadcast is brought to you in part by Goderich Toyota, Traction Heavy Duty Parts, MotorcycleCourse.com, and Revs for Rhett, CSBK's official charity. Here we are back at Calabogie Motorsports Park, and we are working lap number 3 of a 10-lap national championship race, and Colin Viera has not given up, not by a long shot.
No, the former Guyanese champion is pouring the pressure on Tremblay, trying to win his first title.
He is right in the soft air. He has pulled out to Tremblay's right, and he has made the pass this time solidly into Mulligan's, into that right-hander. And now Sebastien Tremblay, the shaker, is running in second.
And as Vince Vaughn would say, now it's a party. Let's look at the replay here. On board with the second place Yamaha, and he's worked the slipstream, fairly long back straightaway here, heading for a very difficult section where unfortunately Viera crashed last time we were here, but you can see he picks the lineup, moves over a little on Tremblay. Tremblay isn't being too aggressive, and should mention, of course, that Tremblay has had success in this class as an amateur. He won 2 races and finished second overall in 2009.
Quite so, and he also teaches, there goes Tremblay to the inside. It's redemption time, and you see that Elliot had to stand it up a bit and let him through.
Yeah, those passes into temptation are always bravery required, and Tremblay, I think, was not happy to be passed and decided he had to show Viera immediately that he was not putting up with this nonsense.
Well, the corners run, temptation, then deliverance, and that's exactly what Tremblay got out of it. He delivered himself right up into first place.
Yeah, beautiful move there, and you can see Viera is struggling to hold his line, picking up the pace. So that makes me think Tremblay is going a little bit faster than he was, and of course they were going very fast before this series of passes.
Viera now probably about, I'm going to give about 8 or 10 bike lengths. We'll see whether that shrinks up a bit as they come up and over the rise here. But again, we look into the background there, and McKay and Lavillan and Massey and the rest of the chasers not even in sight.
Of course, they always look closer in the slower turns. The phenomenon of time, speed, distance, it's actually the same gap. It just looks much, much closer. And it's also fun to note, Tremblay with that very old-fashioned lean-it-over style. Viera trying the move on the inside, a little bit more of a modern pick-it-up-onto the tire style.
Wow, he was right in Tremblay's wheel tracks, and then he pulled out to the right. It looked like he had a pass in mind, rather, on the entrance of turn number 1. That obviously has not been accomplished.
And you can see Viera has caught his breath. I think he now knows he can run with Tremblay because Tremblay's up the pace. Viera's come with him. So now everybody's regrouping. A lap ago, very exciting action, exactly where we are now.
And action continues also between McKay and Massey as McKay has moved back into third spot.
On board here with that Snow City Yamaha as they head into one of the most interesting portions of the track. Very technical, got to get your timing right. You aim for the trees as you pop over this hill, and then you get onto the second longest straight where we had a pass for the lead a lap ago when Tremblay ducked under Viera late on the brakes.
Viera's gone to class. He's in sport bike racing in Canada 101, and he has gone to school on our best sport bike rider in quite some time. Not a champion yet. Maybe it'll come at the end of this day.
To be fair, I think this is 401. I think this is your definitely you're going for your advanced degree on this particular one when you're battling Tremblay for the lead of a national. Again,
Viera a little bit wide coming out there. If he stays right in the wheel tracks of the shaker, he seems to be in better shape than choosing something on his own.
Well, that is fair enough because Tremblay is about as perfect a rider as you're ever going to see. He almost always hits his marks. Like a mistake by Tremblay is very rare, and there you can see Viera a little bit wide and still hanging on. And this section here, downhill plunge, very, very fast, and definitely plays to Tremblay's strengths where he's so comfortable with the bike at full lean on the very edge of those Dunlop Spec slick tires.
And we are approaching the halfway mark of this 10-lap race, working lap number 4 right now as we get back into the bowl again, and Viera is right there once more, less than a bike length at one point. Yeah, up into 20 now.
I made that time, speed, distance lecture, but then Viera really closed it up.
Watch
on
now,
the brakes.
Viera right in behind him now. See if he pulls out again on this one. Look at that beautiful shot coming down the front straightaway. Viera, not enough room, not enough speed to mount a charge just yet.
And just as they were passing the start-finish, you could see the battle for third. It looked like 4 bikes jammed together. We're kind of preoccupied with this race for the lead, the battle for the championship. Tremblay trying to take that #1 plate for next season. But in the background, amazing fight for third. And McKay, who's not a regular at this track, is doing a really good job of setting the pace for the second group.
And one of the riders in the past, one of the only riders rather, who's been able to take it to Tremblay is Christian Allard on the 69 bike, and he has started a slow climb up the ladder as we watch Viera again, less than a bike length behind the shaker.
And Allard missed our last race with transmission issues, and we'll be back for more thrilling sport bike racing at Calabogie.
Back at Calabogie Motorsports Park now. Lap 5 now complete. We start lap 6, and our leader, Sebastien Tremblay, with Elliot Viera in chase, and a great battle going on for third spot. Let's hear from Hannah.
Thanks, guys. Elliot Viera, who's currently battling for first place in this race, was disqualified from the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park weekend due to his bike having significantly too much horsepower on the dyno. However, he has been racing really well this year, and now with this postponed race from the previous round, he has a chance to redeem himself. So back up to you guys.
I think when it comes to a chance to redeem yourself, battling with Sebastien Tremblay for the lead of a Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike race is some kind of honor, because that shows you've got real pace as we head on to the second of our long straightaways here at Calabogie.
Oh man, look at this. Battling is exactly what Viera is doing. He's pulled out again. He has made an attempt. He has made the pass. Beautiful pass on the inside that was extremely well executed, but Tremblay does not like it. Oh, man.
Let's go back and watch the replay, and here we go on board, and this time the pass is a little bit sooner. Tremblay's pass, similar pass, had a bit of an air of desperation. I think he was sending a message. This time I think Viera said, yeah, I can do that, and I can do it a little more smoothly than you managed.
And correct me if I err, I think that was Temptation that was accomplished in.
Yeah, Temptation is where so much of the action happens. Hardly ever has a turn been so well named.
Here comes Tremblay again. Oh, yes, he's got him. Tremblay has got him again. They're completely side by side. Now Viera comes back. Beautiful action here as Viera is truly showing the stuff that he is made of. This is what we've been waiting for. This is the ride we've been waiting for from Elliot Viera for 2 years now.
And Tremblay, beautiful move there. A kind of a surprising move in the hook, but he didn't quite get his timing right. There you can try Viera again. But yeah, for Tremblay to even make the smallest mistake after that bold pass really shows that Viera is on his game, because he pounced immediately, and you don't get to take advantage of a Tremblay mistake hardly ever.
I doubt if Sebastien Tremblay is thinking this way, but my thoughts are just stay back in second spot, bring it home safe, and you'll net the championship. Your thoughts, Mr. Fraser?
I think he might be having a good time.
Tremblay to the inside. Look at this stuff. Stuffed it it on the inside. That was almost surgical. Beautiful move by Sebastien Tremblay, showing he is the champion. He rides like the champion, and he is on his way, perhaps, to a championship on this day.
Not a champion yet, but certainly performing at a very high level in our last weekend of the year. And look at this, Elliott thinking about the pass on the inside, really close there. And look at how far clear they are of McKay and the masked group right behind him who are fighting for third.
Where?
And we aren't following them because this is just too good.
This is absolutely fabulous racing, and it is unfortunate we don't have McKay, Massey, and Lavillon with what they're going on, but how can we possibly swing a camera away from this, as again in through that left-hander, beautiful stuff by Tremblay.
And I think Tremblay shut the door there, and that backed Viera off a little bit, so something's going on.
Don't tell me Viera's had motor problems or mechanical problems of some description. Do not tell me that. I've had far too much of that through this young man's career. What an absolute shame, Colin.
Looking back from that Turcotte Kawasaki at the R6 Yamaha Viera, and he's lost several seconds in just a couple of turns, and you can see Tremblay had a glance. He's aware that the pressure isn't there the way it was.
And what about us and the rest of the fans? We have lost a terrific race here. It's still wonderful to watch these guys in action, but it was so nice when they were trading paint.
Yeah, there you can see that gap is gigantic now. So, yeah, Viera's sitting up. He's lost 10 or 12 seconds just in the first part of the lap. So, yeah, Tremblay, unbelievably big lead now that Viera is not a challenge.
This is all from one mistake, Colin?
I don't think it's a mistake, Frank. I think it's an issue with the motorcycle, and you can hear he's revving it very gently, and he's definitely signaling. We should see the pit lane in just a moment here.
We are on board.
And I think, yep, we're heading off the track.
Jeepers, that is not fair. On lap 7 of 10, Elliott Viera has withdrawn from this national championship race, and he has given a huge advantage over to the potential champion, the shaker, Sebastien Tremblay.
And that's 2 races in a row with absolutely nothing to show for fantastic performances. Really good riding on Viera's part, and of course next year we're hoping to see him at the front.
Next year is becoming all too common a phrase when we refer to Elliott Viera. It's been happening too much for my liking, but we'll be right back from Calabogie Motorsports Park. The 2021 Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike National Championship is presented by Mopar, Joe Rocket, and Yuasa Battery. Here we are back at Calabogie Motorsport Park, and we are working the last few laps of this Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike National Championship race, and we are into traffic at the back, Colin.
And Massey there you can see in the middle of that three-peat group, and McKay getting a bit of an edge because of the lapped rider, but this is a fantastic war between the 3 Kawasaki's, and a wonderful effort from McKay on that Fast Company built ZX6R Ninja. And also what we're watching here, Frank, with 1 round remaining, is a battle for second in the championship.
Oh, yeah, right. Yes, McKay is holding 3rd spot in the championship, as Lavillon, who's running in 4th place on the racetrack right now, who is 2nd in the championship, so he's definitely wanting to move up a rung.
And on our last race at Calabogie, Massey put up a charge up through the pack and got Allard for 2nd on the last lap. Allard, unfortunately, has faded back a bit, not at his normal Calabogie pace. He's in 5th.
Well, I don't know if I ever mentioned it, and I don't know if any of the other riders have followed suit on this, but Allard, I couldn't help but notice he has a tattoo of this racetrack on his left hand, Colin, so that shows you how much he likes this racetrack, and perhaps it indicates how well he knows it, as we now are on the 10th of 10 laps. This is the last go-round, Colin.
On board with McKay, and he's expecting some pressure here. We're coming up on lap traffic, and in our last lap traffic incident, McKay used that very much to his advantage to build this small lead he now has over Massey and Lavillon, and now we'll see what happens. Okay, that rider's given up a little bit of space, and that makes it easier for this race for second to continue, and these guys don't have much time to mount some kind of a challenge for McKay. And of course, McKay at a track he hasn't raced at very much, looking to kind of break the domination of the French Canadians.
And I think Massey is making up some serious distance here again, but I don't think we have enough time for him to make a charge on McKay, but he may be making me a liar even as we speak. He seems to be closing dramatically, and indeed he is, as McKay now on the final lap of this national championship race is under distinct pressure by a man who stood on the podium last time here.
Yeah, this is deja vu all over again, because Massey mounted that fantastic charge when we were here in July and managed to get all the way up to second, and there there you can see we've gone back to the leader. This is Tremblay under zero pressure, and if he completes the next few turns, and likely he will, that takes him to that destination he's been trying for a very long time, the number 1 plate.
Working through corner number 19 now. He banks it over to the left, up the hill a little bit, over 20, and there is the checkered flag awaiting him, and Sebastien Tremblay has captured this national championship race and the national championship as well in the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike class. Meanwhile, the battle for second will come right down to the line between Philippe Massé on the 28 and David McKay on the 82, and I think McKay got it.
Yeah, and you can see Tremblay had a good look over his shoulder. I think he was a little surprised that he couldn't see what was going on. Yeah, it looks like McKay at least was second after the line. We'll see what happens when we go to review the results. But right now, Sebastien Tremblay is trying to digest how after a very, very long time, he's finally achieved what seemed like a straightforward goal. He's been a pace setter in this division for quite a while and plagued with just terrible luck, being taken out in other people's accidents and all kinds of crazy stuff going on there. You can see our top 4, they're much closer together on the cool-off lap than they were in the race, and there's Tremblay looking back, still trying to figure out if one of the bikes he built was the one that got second place, and no, it wasn't. It was David McKay. Massé on a Tremblay bike from Lavalin, Allard, Raff on the top Honda, and then Lada on that Triumph triple. Got a shout out to Viera with his did not finish after battling for the lead. Now let's head to the pits with Frank.
Yes, Shaker, we're going to be going to the podium, but I wanted to catch you fresh off the motorcycle as soon as you got that helmet off. I'm so happy for you. A national championship, you're going to wear the number 1 plate next year, mister.
Oh, yeah, well, that's if we continue in sport bike, unfortunately. So we're not sure about that yet. We'll see 2022 plans. But tomorrow I can probably put the number 1 plate on, I guess.
This was not a runaway this time, Sebastien. You had a lot of company with Elliot Viera.
Oh, that's for sure. You kept the pressure on. I was trying just to do a clean race, not to take too many risks, and he was there pushing me, passing me, and I was trying to pass him as soon as I could. It went pretty close in corner 15 at some point, but no, it was a fun race. I enjoyed it a lot. Unfortunately, he had a small mishap, I heard, but no, it would have been great if we battled it to the end.
And now Elliot Viera, who was most definitely headed for a podium position. Elliot, oh man, we were cheering you on, and you were doing so well. You guys were swapping positions back and forth, but I'm heartbroken for you.
Oh yeah, no man, it's the hardest I've ridden so far, and I enjoyed every bit, but it just, it really breaks the mind when the engine blows, when you know you're this close to.
Is that what it was? You had an engine failure?
Yeah, I had an engine failure. I think I dropped the valve because I was pushing her. Yeah. I was pushing her.
Oh, well. And unfortunately, it's the last championship race of the year, so we're going to have to wait till 2022 to see you at your finest.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know I have the confidence, at least, and I know I can have the ability to be up there, so for sure, I'm going for the championship next year.
David, we caught you right now. I know we're going to go to podium. We're going to have a chance to chat with you, man. I'm so happy for you. Well done.
Thank you so much. What a well-fought race, and I'm just so glad to finally put it back on the podium. It's just awesome.
When you finished second to the Shaker, boy, that's as good as a win, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Tremblay's ripping around here, so just to finish in second is as good as I was hoping for, and I'm glad I put it on the box.
With one more race left to run, the attention of the point standing switches that great battle for second. McKay, Lavalin, and Massé all have quite a reasonable shot at it, and we'll see what happens in our final Liqui Moly round tomorrow.
And so it is. Congratulations to the Shaker, Sebastien Tremblay, having wrapped up the Liqui Moly Pro Sport Bike National Championship. There he is with his number 1 plate. Thank you so much for being with us, race fans. We look forward to broadcasting to you once more on behalf of the entire CSBK crew. See you next time.